He's still confident throughout.
I am. I am. I have two criteria, and both were met. What are we talking about, you ask?
Uh, Satya Nadella thinking they're going to be able to close their $70 billion.
Oh, that thing.
Not the thing we were talking about right before here. But yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, look, every time something happens, people are going to freak out.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is what I've already said, which is this is how the process works.
It's how it should work.
This is right. Exactly. So I haven't changed my opinion on this. Not that my opinion matters, but I mean, just as an outside observer, they've said all the right things. Well, they haven't said all the right things, but
Mm-hmm.
it must have been Phil Spencer, but somebody in the past 48 hours said something like, it doesn't make any business sense for Microsoft not to support Call of Duty on all these popular platforms, which is exactly what we've been talking about. Like, right. Like, you can debate things all you want, but taking Call of Duty off PlayStation makes no sense. But you know what? As part of this regulatory process, we could get Microsoft to just formally agree to something, some number of years, some number of versions, something, whatever it is. And I think that's what's going to happen. So, whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of the duty of call,
which is actually what I was referring to earlier.
Yes, the beta is out. Have you?
Well, the beta's been out for over a week. We just got it on Xbox PC, so because we're peons.
I like it. Well, let me massive qualification. And I'll be curious how you react.
Yep.
The gameplay itself is fine. Gameplay is fine. I'm not too concerned about there. Easily, without a doubt, hands down, the worst user interface in the history of Call of Duty.
That's a high bar. I would say that. Listen, I have been stuck on Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for years. And recently, I actually looked something up because I'm like, I just got to understand, what is this thing doing? Like, that Call of Duty has never had a good user interface. So, yeah, that's true. I have a lot of experience with Call of Duty. I greet each new game with a sense of dread, not for for many reasons, but one of them is just the UI. Like, what does this stuff, what does this mean? Like, you select a weapon and then there's some kind of a progression that involves other weapons, which I've never seen before. And It's like, I'm going to struggle with this. And I would hope, in fact, you've indicated, but I would hope that other people are also struggling, not because I want them to struggle, but because it just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm kind of glad to hear it doesn't make sense to other people. These are the difficulties. So I texted you yesterday.
Yeah.
And look, like I said, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, I don't remember what year that came out, but it's got to be at least 4 versions old, something like that, 5, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been ups and downs in the interim years, for sure. But the big issue with the modern games, so to speak, which is the remake of Modern Warfare 1, Black Ops Cold War. Well, the issue with those two games was what I would call latency lag, which ruins multiplayer for me. And listen, I couldn't play those games. This is something I play every single day. Like, I could not play those games. I tried so many times, and I can't. So when Vanguard came out last year, they actually solved the latency issue. I can play that game, but I won't because the graphics suck.
Yeah, Vanguard was the worst.
The graphics are terrible, especially given the high quality of the graphics of the last two games. But the graphics of Vanguard multiplayer are worse than Black Ops 4. Like, it doesn't make any sense. When you go from Vanguard to Black Ops 4, it's like this vibrant HDR explosion of color, and it's beautiful. And high quality, whatever. So the thing I texted to you yesterday was basically a shorthand way of saying this new version solves both of those problems, which were what kept me from playing multiplayer on the latest versions of Call of Duty. The lag issue is gone, but the graphics are just as good as they were in those other two games. So great. The quality of the maps, mostly good, I would say. We'll see. I mean, but mostly good. That's fine. There's an unfamiliarity right now because I don't know the maps, and that's
Yep.
an issue, of course. I mean, it's true of every year, whatever. There's the complexity of the loadouts, I'll call it for lack of a better term. So you set up weapons, you set up kill streaks. They probably call them score streaks now or something. You set up whatever little special gadgets and things you can use, and then you can progress through levels with the weapons and get additional attachments and capabilities, whatever. It's a beta, so they only have certain game modes, and I've set it on like the default, but only for team deathmatch because that's all I care about. But I usually play hardcore. There is no hardcore, and so that takes a little bit of getting used to because I'm used to shooting someone and they actually die,
Mm-hmm.
and in this version they don't die and they recover. So you have to really shoot them a lot compared to like the version I play. But you know what? I am extremely positive right now going into this, and I
Yeah.
think I'm just years of frustration, years.
So I will, for anybody who's going to try to play the beta, because there were some issues logging in for a lot of people. I don't know when this started, but
Yeah, I didn't have that problem, thank God.
I didn't either. But clearly, it's
Mhm.
enough that the Call of Duty account tweeted from. It's like, we're aware of this. Something's going on there.
Mhm.
When you do get into a game, I will point out, if you get on a smaller map, the shotgun class is comically overpowered, and it is a joy of many senses to use.
Sorry.
It is ridiculous. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I actually, so I very much, I will progress through different weapon types. I give up at sniper rifles because they're just too hard to progress. And I'm just not that kind of player. I don't sit back in a corner and shoot 5 people in one game and call it a day. But I prefer like the assault weapons or what they call like marksman rifles,
Mhm.
depending on which version of the game you're playing, which is kind of a hybrid weapon. But I, I picked up a shotgun somewhat. I because other people have been playing and I wanted to see different weapons. Sometimes when I kill someone, I'll take the pistol away and pick up whatever's on the ground. And you get to see like weapons that have been upgraded and stuff, and you can see what's going on. It's kind of nice. And so one of the weapons was a shotgun. It's like this thing is, it's like the double shotgun from Doom 2. It's like
Yep.
kaboom,
Yeah, it's
goes-
it's exactly what it is.
right? And,
And
the guy you hit goes flying back, like in one of those movies where they actually use a cable to pull him backward to really make it look dramatic. And I only got to use it one time, but I was like, I held on to it. I was like, this is actually pretty hilarious. I don't
Yep.
like shotguns though. And
The other thing to note is, I don't even know if I already said this, but Activision or whoever is making the game has already said they're looking at the UI, that they're going to try to make some changes because they're aware.
it is horrific. But by the way, it is always horrific. I mean,
I don't. So maybe I don't know if
no,
I
it
feel
really is.
the
Like,
last cut. I think Warzone has a fantastic UI for being able to customize stuff. Like
So-
it's but the thing is here's what happened. So with Modern Warfare 2019, they introduced a style, and then
Yeah.
over the next, so there was
they
there was
evolved
that
over
there
it,
was
yeah,
Vanguard,
yeah.
and like they refined it over the next 4 or 5 years or however many. And then this year, feels like they went to the Vanguard team and said, "You guys did such a good job making that game. Take
I
a
don't think
stab at
anyone
the
said
UI."
that to anyone in the Vanguard.
And
But anyway,
and
yeah.
it feels like just a massive regression in what was.
I'm not. Look, I won't excuse it. It's terrible, like you said. But my guess is they saw what happened last year, and I'm sure Activision came down to Infinity Ward and said, "Look, this game's in great shape. You guys are on the right path, but we need this. This thing's going to be in the market for 2 years.
Mhm.
We're going to keep refreshing it with content. You have to get this. We need to take a step forward with everything, you know." And I'm sure that might have been because I can't imagine why they would have screwed with it. Those games were so popular, they would have understood the system. It would be the easiest way to get them in there, but they screwed with it. And I think they just said, look, this is going to be in market for a long time, so we gotta let's make it big. Like we gotta get everyone to upgrade because there will be no upgrades next year. But yeah, look. This is a hard thing for me to explain because I actually don't know the right words for things. Like I don't remember map names usually, or
Yeah.
I set up my character or whatever it is, the player, with certain kill streaks or score streaks and capability, and all I change is the weapon, as I progress, and because I figure out what works for me and I stick with it, and so I don't know the names of things. But even like Call of Duty, like I said, this is like a dumb thing that it's hard to explain. But I've been playing this game for 4 or 5 whatever years, and there's still things in the games I don't even know what they do. Like someone on my team will use, like, because of the character type, has like a attack something that he puts out, and it's like a little tripod-y thing, and it tells me that he put it out, and I can see it because it's like, like I have a, it doesn't matter, I can see it.
It stops incoming projectiles like grenades.
No, it's not that thing. This
it's not a trophy system.
No, there's something like that. That's a trophy system, like the thing that's yeah. So no, it's not that. But every time I think about this every time, and I've never looked it up. Like, but it, like I said, I've been playing this for years. I'm positive that thing doesn't benefit me in any way. I don't know why they tell me that he did it. Like a lot of things, you think about multiplayer, like you have little things you can do. Like if I put out like a trip mine or whatever it's called in this version of the game, and I kill someone, great. That's a point for me. I guess it's a point for the team. But there's nothing someone on my team can do, or there's no way it benefits them in a positive way other than if I get someone with it. Like it doesn't impact them. So why would you tell them about it? Like they don't need to know that I did it. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. It doesn't like turn the radar on for planes. It doesn't. So that's one little stupid thing in a game that has a million stupid things, and to this day I have no idea. And like I don't understand how anyone could understand everything in a Call of Duty game. It's like the NT kernel. It's like the most complex thing. Like it's you know what I mean? Like I
might be overselling it a little.
No, but it's really complex, right? No, it is really complex. Think of all the different attachments which vary by gun.
Oh
by
yeah,
gun
no,
type.
the tech tree is significant.
It's incredible. Like it's arguably too much,
Yeah, yes, but too much.
They can't take it away because there are hardcore guys who would come in and they'd be complaining like we're complaining about Windows 11. Where's the blah 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 whatever? I relied on this thing. I loved it. I'm one of the 1%ers or 3%ers or whatever that use this thing. You can't take stuff away. These people, they'll be like, I'll go to a different game. That's the thing.
Yes, they could go to a different game, but at this point, and what's why Microsoft's buying Activision, what is the other game? It's not Battlefield 2042 because that game flopped.
Yeah, so that's what I'm not going to buy into this theory, but there's this thing going around now where like what is it? EA makes Battlefield, and they're like Microsoft buying Call of Duty would be the best thing that ever happened to Battlefield. Guys, the best thing that could ever happen to Battlefield is you actually make a good one.
Yeah.
Like no offense, but you have basically failed against Call of Duty every single time you've come out with anything. I know there are fans of the franchise, and I know there are good versions of it. Do not get me wrong. Even the World War one was a good one. Battlefield 1, that was great.
Yeah.
But sorry, you'll always be the Burger King in this situation, and the only thing you can do is make a better game.
Burger King,
right?
Well, they did release a Whopper.
I like the game. What I see so far, I like, and I know like once there are more maps, and there will be, and there'll be a lot. I think they promised some large number of maps for day one, and once I have the game mode I actually want to play, which is hardcore team deathmatch. Sorry, I think it's going to be great, and
what I'm going to be curious to see is, so they've already announced that this game is going to last 2 years, right?
Yep.
So what are they doing for year 2? Because at some point,
I'll tell you what they're going to do, baby. Moments.
See you on Monday.